Why some places are off limits. There are places on Earth that most humans will never see. Not because they are hard to reach, not because they are hidden, but because we are not allowed to go there. Some are sealed off by governments, some are protected by law, some are guarded by nature itself, and some are forbidden because entering them could cost you your life. We often think the planet belongs to us, that every mountain can be climbed, every island can be explored, every land can be claimed. But that isn't true. Across the world, there are zones where human presence is restricted, controlled, or completely banned, places where curiosity is dangerous, where cameras are not welcome, where footsteps are treated as threats. Some are off limits because they are too deadly, poisonous air, radiation, unstable ground, predators that outnumber people. Others are forbidden because of secrecy, military experiments, sensitive research, information that governments refuse to release. And some are closed for preservation, ancient art, fragile ecosystems, last remaining cultures that could be destroyed by a single visit. In these places, humans are not explorers. We are risks. Every breath we take changes the environment. Every step leaves damage. Every visit carries consequences. So, boundaries are drawn, fences are built, warnings are posted, laws are enforced, and in some cases, guards are prepared to stop you by force. These forbidden places remind us of something uncomfortable. Despite our technology, our maps, and our satellites, there are still parts of this planet that do not belong to us. Places that exist beyond curiosity, beyond tourism, beyond control. In this video, we're going to explore 7 of them. 7 places where humans are not welcome. Not because we haven't tried to enter, but because we were never meant to. 1. Ilha da Queimada Grande, the island where one bite can kill. Just off the coast of Brazil, there is a small island that looks peaceful from a distance. Green hills, rocky cliffs, blue water surrounding it on all sides. From far away, it looks like the perfect place to explore. But getting close to this island is illegal. Landing on it without special permission can result in heavy fines, or worse. Because this island is considered one of the most dangerous places on Earth, it is known as Snake Island, and it is overrun with venomous snakes. Thousands of them. On this island, snakes are not hiding in the bushes. They are not scattered in small numbers. They are everywhere. In the trees, on the ground, between rocks, wrapped around branches. In some areas, there is believed to be one deadly snake for every square meter of land. That means almost every step could put you within striking distance of death. The reason for this began thousands of years ago. Long ago, this island was connected to mainland Brazil. Animals could move freely between land and sea, but rising ocean levels slowly separated it. When the water cut the island off, the snakes were trapped. With no predators and limited food, something unusual happened. They evolved. Over generations, the snakes became more aggressive. Their venom became more powerful. Their bodies adapted for hunting birds that flew in from the mainland. Today, the island is home to one of the most dangerous snakes on the planet, the golden lancehead. Its venom is so strong that it can cause rapid tissue damage, internal bleeding, and organ failure. In some cases, it can kill in under an hour. There is no hospital on the island, no emergency rescue station, no quick way out. If you are bitten there, survival is uncertain. Because of this, the Brazilian government banned public access. Only a small number of scientists and researchers are allowed to visit. And even they go with armed escorts, protective equipment, and medical teams on standby. Every visit is carefully planned, every step is watched. Even trained professionals treat this island with extreme caution. There are stories of fishermen who accidentally landed here in the past. Some never returned. One lighthouse keeper and his family once lived on the island decades ago. According to reports, they were eventually found dead inside their home after snakes entered through windows and doors. Whether every detail is true or exaggerated, the danger is very real. This is not a place where mistakes are forgiven. On Snake Island, humans are not visitors. They are intruders. The snakes evolved here without us. They dominate the land. They control the ecosystem. And nature has made it very clear. This island does not belong to people anymore. It belongs to venom, and it intends to keep it that way. 2. North Sentinel Island, the tribe that rejects the modern world. In the middle of the Indian Ocean, there is a small island surrounded by coral reefs and deep blue water. From above, it looks untouched. No roads, no buildings, no ports, no signs of modern life. But this island is not empty. It is home to one of the last completely uncontacted tribes on Earth, the Sentinelese. For thousands of years, they have lived on this island without outside contact. No electricity, no internet, no cities, no written language. They hunt, they fish, they build simple shelters. They live the same way their ancestors did centuries ago, and they want nothing to do with the modern world. Any attempt to approach the island is met with immediate hostility. Boats are chased away. Helicopters are fired at with arrows. Strangers are warned off with spears. This is not curiosity. It is protection. The Sentinelese have learned over generations that outsiders bring danger, disease, violence, exploitation. Throughout history, many isolated tribes were wiped out after contact with the outside world, not by weapons, but by simple illnesses like flu or measles. The Sentinelese have no immunity to modern diseases. A single visit could kill them. That is why the Indian government has made it illegal to approach the island. No tourism, no research trips, no filming, no visits. A protection zone surrounds it. Anyone who enters can face arrest, and in some cases, they never make it back. Several outsiders have tried to contact the tribe in the past. Missionaries, adventurers, fishermen, most were driven away. Some were killed. In 2018, a man illegally traveled to the island trying to convert the tribe. He was attacked and never returned. Authorities chose not to recover his body because doing so would put the tribe at risk. It was a painful reminder that this rule exists for a reason. This island is not unexplored. It is deliberately untouched. While satellites map the planet, while drones scan forests, while cities spread across continents, North Sentinel Island remains outside it all. No social media, no maps, no voice in global politics. Just a small community choosing isolation in a connected world. And in many ways, it is one of the most powerful acts of resistance on Earth. They are saying, we do not want your technology. We do not want your systems. We do not want your world. Leave us alone. So, this island remains forbidden. Not because it is dangerous to us, but because we are dangerous to them. And for once, humanity has chosen, at least here, to respect that boundary. 3. Svalbard Global Seed Vault, the Doomsday Vault of humanity. High above the Arctic Circle, far from cities, highways, and crowded airports, there is a mountain made of ice, rock, and frozen ground. Inside that mountain is one of the most important buildings on Earth. From the outside, it looks simple. A small concrete entrance, a steel door, a glowing blue light cutting through the snow. No crowds, no signs, no tourists. Because what's inside is not meant to be visited. It is meant to survive. This is the Svalbard Global Seed Vault, often called the Doomsday Vault. And it exists for one reason: to protect humanity's future. Inside this frozen mountain are millions of seeds: wheat, rice, corn, beans, vegetables, grains, nearly every major crop that feeds the world. Each seed is carefully dried, sealed, and stored in airtight containers, then placed deep underground, where temperatures stay below freezing all year. even if the power goes out, even if systems fail, even if people disappear, the cold will remain. The vault was built to survive disasters: nuclear war, climate collapse, global pandemics, asteroid impacts, mass crop failure. If agriculture fails in one part of the world, countries can come here to restart, to replant, to rebuild, to begin again. It is, quite literally, a backup copy of civilization. So why is it forbidden? Why can't people just visit? Because this place is too important to risk. Every entry is controlled, every deposit is recorded, every movement is monitored. Only authorized scientists and officials are allowed inside. No filming tours, no casual visits, no public access. Even the countries that store seeds here do not own the vault. They only rent space inside it. Each nation keeps control of its own seeds, like safety deposit boxes in a global bank, and those boxes are sealed, locked, untouched. Most of the time, no one goes inside at all. The vault is designed to sit quietly for decades, waiting. That silence is intentional, because if the day ever comes when humanity truly needs this place, it means something has gone terribly wrong. Interestingly, the vault has already been tested. In recent years, melting ice caused water to enter part of the entrance tunnel. Not enough to damage the seeds, but enough to remind scientists that even perfect systems are fragile. So upgrades were made. Walls reinforced, drainage improved, monitoring increased, because this place cannot fail. Without it, entire crops could vanish forever. A disease, a drought, a war. And suddenly, food disappears. The seed vault exists to prevent that future. It holds thousands of years of agricultural history, choices made by ancient farmers, seeds bred over generations, traits that may never appear again, all preserved in darkness and ice. So, this is a forbidden place, not because it is dangerous, but because it is precious, too valuable for crowds, too important for mistakes, too vital for curiosity. Deep inside a frozen mountain, humanity has hidden its most basic survival tool. Not weapons, not money, not data, seeds, because in the end, civilization depends on something very simple: the ability to grow food. And in this silent Arctic vault, that ability is being guarded for a future we hope never arrives. 4. Area 51, the most secret base on Earth. In the middle of the Nevada desert, far from cities and highways, there is a place that does not appear on most maps. No signs, no public roads, no visitor center, just empty land, distant mountains, and warning notices that grow more threatening the closer you get. This is Area 51. The most secret military base in the United States, and one of the most restricted places on Earth. For decades, the government refused to even admit that it existed. No official documents, no explanations, no confirmation. People knew it was there. They could see it from satellites, they could see planes flying in and out, but officially, it didn't exist. That silence is what made it famous. Because when information disappears, rumors grow. Stories began spreading: alien spacecraft, recovered UFOs, secret technology, experiments on non-human life. Area 51 became the center of global conspiracy culture. But the real reason for its secrecy is less dramatic and more powerful. This base is where the US tested some of its most advanced aircraft. Spy planes, stealth bombers, experimental drones. During the Cold War, pilots trained here in aircraft so secret that even other military units didn't know they existed. The goal was simple: develop technology before anyone else could, and never let rivals see it. That is why the airspace above Area 51 is closed. Completely. No commercial flights, no private planes, no drones. Pilots are warned to stay away. If they enter by mistake, They are contacted immediately. If they don't respond, military jets can be scrambled. On the ground, security is just as strict. The perimeter is guarded by cameras, motion sensors, and armed patrols. Signs warn that deadly force is authorized, not may be used, authorized. People who cross the boundary are arrested within minutes. No questions, no warnings, just removal. Even employees who work there are sworn to secrecy. Many are flown in on unmarked planes from Las Vegas. They cannot tell their families what they do. They cannot discuss their work. Some never even say where they go each day. For years, workers were told to say they were contractors. Nothing more. In 2013, the US government finally admitted Area 51 existed, but they did not explain much. They confirmed it was a testing site. They released old documents and then stopped talking, which only increased suspicion. Because if it's just a base, why so much secrecy? The truth is, modern warfare depends on information. If another country knows what technology you have, they can copy it, counter it, prepare for it. So, secrecy becomes a weapon, and Area 51 is built around that principle. Everything here is hidden by design. Buildings are placed away from public view, runways are angled to avoid observation, schedules are unpredictable. Nothing is left to chance. This space represents a different kind of forbidden place, not protected by nature, not preserved for history, but sealed for power. A reminder that in the modern world, the most important territories are not always visible. They are classified, locked, and surrounded by silence, and somewhere in the desert, behind fences and warning signs, experiments continue. Unseen, undocumented, and unknown, not because the public isn't curious, but because some knowledge is considered too dangerous to share. 5. Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, the city humans had to abandon. In northern Ukraine, near the border with Belarus, there is a place where time seems frozen. Apartment blocks stand empty, schools are silent. Ferris wheels never move. Nature is slowly reclaiming everything. This is the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, one of the most haunting forbidden places on Earth. And it exists because of a single disaster. In April 1986, a nuclear reactor at the Chernobyl power plant exploded during a late-night safety test. The explosion was massive. It tore open the reactor core, released radioactive material into the air, sent invisible poison drifting across Europe. But at first, no one understood what had happened. Workers tried to contain the fire without proper protection. Firefighters rushed in, unaware they were being exposed to lethal radiation. Many of them would die weeks later. Nearby, in the city of Pripyat, life continued as normal. People went to work, children went to school, families walked in parks. They had no idea they were being irradiated. It took more than a day for authorities to react. Then, suddenly, evacuation orders were issued. Residents were told to pack a few belongings. They were told they would return in a few days. They never did. More than 100,000 people were forced to leave their homes permanently. Entire towns were abandoned, pets were left behind, furniture stayed in place, meals were left unfinished, everything stopped because radiation had saturated the land. Radiation is invisible. It has no smell, no color, no sound, but it damages cells, breaks DNA, causes cancer and organ failure. In the worst areas, exposure can still be deadly. To contain the disaster, a massive concrete structure was built over the destroyed reactor. Later, an even larger steel dome was placed on top, one of the biggest moving structures ever created. Its job is simple: trap radiation inside, prevent it from escaping. But even today, the surrounding region remains unsafe. So, a zone was created, a restricted area stretching for miles in every direction. No permanent residents, no farming, no development. Only scientists, workers, and limited tourists are allowed inside, and only briefly, with strict rules, with radiation monitors, with constant supervision. Inside the zone, nature has returned. Forests have grown through streets. Animals roam freely. Wolves, deer and birds have multiplied. Without humans, ecosystems recovered. But the radiation never truly left. It lingers in soil, in water, in plants. Some areas will remain dangerous for tens of thousands of years, longer than recorded human history. And yet, a few former residents secretly returned. Elderly people who refuse to abandon their homes. They live quietly in contaminated villages, growing food in poisoned soil, choosing familiarity over safety, because to them, home mattered more than risk. Chernobyl is forbidden, not because of guards or fences, but because the land itself is hostile, a reminder that technology, when it fails, can reshape entire regions, erase cities, displace generations, create invisible borders. This was once a thriving community. Now it is a warning, a city sacrificed to contain a mistake, a place where humanity learned, too late, that some forces cannot be controlled forever. And inside the silent streets of Chernobyl, the past still lingers, glowing, unseen and unforgiving. 6. Vatican Apostolic Archive, the documents no one is allowed to see. In the heart of Vatican City, behind thick stone walls and guarded doors, there is a place few people on Earth have ever entered. No tour groups, no cameras, no public access, just endless shelves, locked rooms, and miles of documents stretching deep into history. This is the Vatican Apostolic Archive. For centuries, it was known as the Secret Archive, not because it held mysteries for entertainment, but because it was private, reserved, restricted. Inside this archive are records that span more than 1,000 years. Letters from kings, messages from popes, reports from spies, accounts of wars, trials, and political deals. Some documents date back to the Middle Ages. Others were written during world wars. Some involve powerful empires that no longer exist. Together, they form one of the largest and most important historical collections on Earth. But almost no one is allowed to see them. Only a small number of approved scholars are granted access. They must apply, provide credentials, explain their research. Even then, they are monitored. They can only request specific documents. They cannot freely browse, they cannot copy most material, and many sections remain completely closed, locked, untouchable. Why? Because information is power. Throughout history, the Vatican has been involved in global politics, diplomacy, and conflict. Popes advised kings, influenced wars, negotiated secret agreements. Some documents may reveal uncomfortable truths, political alliances, hidden negotiations, private scandals, decisions that shaped entire nations. Releasing everything could rewrite parts of history. It could damage reputations, challenge institutions, change how the past is understood. So, access is controlled, carefully, deliberately. There are constant rumors about what might be inside. Lost religious texts, evidence of suppressed discoveries, correspondence about major world events. Most of these claims are exaggerated, but not all secrets are imaginary. In recent years, the Vatican has slowly opened small portions of the archive, documents related to certain popes, files connected to World War II, records about controversial decisions. Each release reveals how complex and political history really is. But these openings are limited, selective, measured, because once information is released, it cannot be taken back. This archive is forbidden, not because it is dangerous to enter, but because it is dangerous to expose. Every page inside has the potential to change how people see the past, to challenge authority, to raise questions, to create conflict. So most of it remains in silence, stored in darkness, preserved in climate-controlled rooms, guarded by tradition and policy. It is one of the few places on Earth where history is physically locked away, not lost, not destroyed, just hidden, waiting. A reminder that sometimes the most powerful forbidden places are not islands, deserts, or radiation zones. They are rooms filled with paper and the truths those papers contain. 7. Lascaux Caves, the cave humans destroyed by visiting in southwestern France. Hidden beneath quiet farmland and rolling hills, there is a cave that contains some of the oldest and most important art ever created by humans. Inside its walls are paintings that are more than 17,000 years old. Horses, bulls, deer, abstract symbols drawn by people who lived during the Ice Age, long before cities, long before writing, long before recorded history. For thousands of years, these images survived in perfect darkness, protected by stone, preserved by silence, untouched by time. Then, in 1940, everything changed. 4 teenage boys accidentally discovered the cave while exploring the countryside. When they entered, they found walls covered in paintings, art from a lost world. News spread quickly. Scientists arrived, photographers followed, and soon the public was invited inside. At first, it seemed like a miracle. People from around the world came to see humanity's earliest masterpieces. Thousands became millions. Every day, visitors walked through the cave, breathing, sweating, touching the air. And slowly, something invisible began to happen. Human breath contains carbon dioxide and moisture. Every exhale changed the cave's atmosphere. Lights installed for visitors raised the temperature. Body heat warmed the walls. Together, these small changes created a disaster. Mold began to grow, fungi spread, algae formed green stains over the paintings. The ancient art started to fade, crack, peel, disappear. The cave had survived tens of thousands of years alone, but only a few decades with humans. By the 1960s, scientists realized the damage was becoming irreversible. If visitors continued, the paintings would be lost forever. So, authorities made a difficult decision. They closed the cave completely. No more tourists, no more photographers, no more casual visits. Only a handful of experts were allowed inside under strict conditions, limited time, protective clothing, constant monitoring. Even today, entry is extremely rare, and even scientists are cautious, because one mistake could destroy what remains. To satisfy public curiosity, a replica was built nearby. An exact copy of the cave, every crack, every drawing, every curve recreated. Visitors now go there instead. The real cave remains sealed, dark, silent, guarded. Inside, the original paintings still exist, fragile, fading, fighting to survive. This place is forbidden not because it is dangerous, but because we are. Our presence alone is enough to cause harm. Our breath, our warmth, our curiosity, all of it becomes destructive in fragile environments. Lascaux is a warning, a reminder that preservation sometimes means absence, that protecting history sometimes requires staying away, that not every discovery is meant to be shared. For thousands of years, these paintings survived without us, and now the only way to save them is to leave them alone. What forbidden places reveal about us? Across the world, these forbidden places look very different. A snake-filled island, a remote tribal homeland, a frozen vault in the Arctic, a secret military base, an abandoned nuclear city, a locked archive, a sealed prehistoric cave, different countries, different purposes, different dangers, but they all exist for the same reason, because humans reached a limit. In some places, nature became too dangerous to enter. Venom, radiation, extreme isolation, unstable environments. In others, knowledge became too powerful to share. Military technology, political secrets, historical records, and in some, human presence itself became the threat. Our breath, our heat, our curiosity, enough to destroy what had survived for thousands of years. These locations remind us that the planet does not belong to us in the way we often imagine. We like to believe we can explore everything, control everything, use everything. But these places say otherwise. They tell us that some spaces must be protected, even from ourselves, that progress has consequences, that curiosity has limits, that power requires restraint. Every fence, warning sign, and restricted border represents a decision, a choice to protect life, to preserve history, to contain danger, to guard information, and sometimes to admit failure. Chernobyl exists because technology failed. Snake Island exists because evolution took a different path. North Sentinel exists because contact would destroy a culture. Lascaux exists because we almost erased our own past. None of these places were meant to be forbidden. They became forbidden because of what humans did, or because of what humans might do. In a world where satellites map every corner and cameras record everything, these zones of silence are rare. They are reminders that mystery still exists, that not everything is meant to be accessed, that some things survive only when left alone. And perhaps that is the most uncomfortable truth. The greatest threat to many of Earth's most important places is not nature. It is us, our ambition, our greed, our impatience. But these forbidden places also show something else. They show that humans are capable of restraint, of drawing lines, of saying, "not here," of choosing protection over access. Every sealed cave, restricted island, and locked vault is proof that preservation is still possible, that limits can be respected, that some things are worth more than convenience. So, the next time you see a fence, a warning sign, or a place marked "no entry," remember, it may not be there to keep you out. It may be there to keep something alive. If you want to continue exploring the hidden, dangerous, and protected places on our planet, subscribe to Extreme Earth, because the most powerful stories on Earth are often found where humans are not allowed to go.